This year, I explored Europe solo, and there were 4 cities in particular that completely stole my heart. Travelling alone as a woman while navigating new places can feel a little daunting, but these cities made it not just easy, but genuinely joyful. Safe, beautiful, and easy to explore. Let me show you why I think they should be at the top of your 2026 travel list, if you've been thinking of going solo too. At number 4 is Milan in the north of Italy. I started at the cathedral, and if you like little adventures like me, you might want to take the lift up to see the rooftop terraces. It's a unique chance to see the spires and statues up close, as well as enjoy the views across the city. But if heights aren't your thing, you can still enjoy the serenity and beauty of the cathedral's interior, with its magnificent stained glass windows. Piazza del Duomo is also where you'll find the entrance to the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele and the famous mosaic ball, which attracts a lot of attention as it's believed that if you spin on a certain part of his body, it will bring you luck. There's also the magnificent Sforza Castle, where you can enter the courtyard for free and take one of the exits into Sempione Park, where you can see the Branca Tower and walk on to the Arch of Peace. I also crossed the city to see the Roman columns of San Lorenzo. And the impressive 19th century Monumentale Cemetery. Milan has an excellent metro system, and my hotel was within easy reach of it. With just 5 lines and contactless payment, it's super simple to use. Just look out for the square M signs. They'll get you right to the action. The metro made it really easy to cross the city and meant I could see places I definitely wouldn't have reached on foot during my 2 days there, like this exquisite church known as the Sistine Chapel of Milan. There's also a pretty great tram service, and they crisscross the city in such style. And Milano Centrale also makes it simple to travel to any other destinations in Italy. I had a fabulous 48 hours in Milan. It felt safe and was pretty easy to navigate with great transport, beautiful buildings, and of course, fabulous pizza. From cathedral spires and fashion arcades to tiled streets and river views. Porto in the north of Portugal is my number 3 choice. It was a wonderful surprise, and what really made it work for me was how very compact and walkable it was, if you don't mind a few steps and hills. But this is one of the things I loved most about Porto. It was so easy to navigate on foot, so I didn't have to worry about working out the local transport system, even though it looked very good with plenty of trams and a centrally placed train station at what has to be one of the most beautiful stations in the world, São Bento. Portugal has been topping lists as a safe destination for solo female travellers for some time now, and I have to say I felt very safe walking around. I'm not one for going out much late at night on my own, but the streets felt very safe when I did a little bit of nighttime shopping and sightseeing. And I found everyone very friendly, whether I needed help from shopkeepers or police on street corners when I was a little bit lost. It's also a good base if you want to explore further north. I booked a coach trip to Braga to see the famous sanctuary at Bom Jesus do Monte. And the stunning town of Guimarães, with its castle and medieval square. But there really is plenty to see and do in Porto to fill at least 3 fun-packed solo days of exploring. I enjoyed seeing the cathedral and taking a boat trip on the Douro River. And walking across the incredible Dom Luis I Bridge shouldn't be missed. And do try to take the cable car back if you can. The views are stunning, and you can have a car all to yourself. When I'm traveling solo, it's important to me to have a nice hotel in a central location. And this one in the Rua das Flores was just perfect with a lovely rooftop garden. My number 2 choice of cities for you to visit as a solo female traveller is Seville in southern Spain's Andalusia region. Seville really captured my heart with its beautiful architecture and narrow, characterful streets. There's always something wonderful to look at, so you really don't feel the miles as you cross the city, particularly if you explore the Santa Cruz area. And I found it the most walkable of the cities I visited this year, as I covered almost everything on foot, from finding my way through the back streets to Casa de Pilatos. To crossing the river and exploring the Triana area, birthplace of many famous flamenco dancers. I stayed at the very quirky Las Casas de la Juderia, which was very handy for Seville's glorious cathedral. I just followed the bells. And the Alcazar, the royal palace, was also just a 10-minute walk away and definitely shouldn't be missed if you're visiting Seville. The Giralda Tower was an excellent guide as I navigated the city solo. It's always good to have a few landmarks like towers, rivers and monuments to help you get your bearings. Seville's train station was easy to get to, and I used it to take a day trip to Cordoba and also travelled on to Granada. I also took a day trip by coach to the hilltop towns of Ronda and Setano. Life in Seville is very much lived outdoors, with restaurants spilling onto pavements. The glorious Plaza de España, where I happily whiled away a few hours. And beautiful parks. You might be lucky enough to see a flamenco show. There are always lots of people about, and I felt very safe finding my way around. I loved my time in Seville, but we're moving on to my favourite city which I visited solo this year. And one I think you should definitely add to your list too, if you're thinking of taking a trip of your own. Nice in the south of France. I can't think of many cities where you have vibrant markets, a characterful old town, stunning palaces, good transport links, and a beach with 300 days of sunshine a year. That makes this place very special, I think. It was a real pleasure to walk around Nice. Not only is it mostly flat, but it felt very safe and was stunningly beautiful, especially the famous Promenade des Anglais. On my first morning, I walked right along the seafront towards Port Olympia, which is the place to see some very fine boats. I then took the lift up Castle Hill. The views across Nice are unrivaled. From here, I walked down into the old town and explored the beautiful buildings and shops. Nice Garden Hotel, the perfect oasis in the city with its courtyard garden. And it was super easy to explore from here. I was just a 10-minute walk away from Place Masséna, where you can hop on a tram and explore further. Nice's train station is ideally situated for exploring the French Riviera. From here, I enjoyed days out in Monaco, Cannes, Menton, Antibes, and Villefranche, travelling along one of the most gorgeous train lines in Europe. I visited Nice in October when the city felt calm and unhurried, without the frenetic energy of places like Seville or Milan. For me, it was close to perfect. There's just something special about being in a city by the sea. I loved my year of solo travel, and I hope it's inspired you to add a few places to your own list. What did you think of my choices? Have you visited any, or are they still on your wish list? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more from these destinations, keep an eye out for my full-length films and subscribe to join me on the next journey. I'd love to have your company.